Welcome to Weekly Weather Brief. Adding a lot of W's there. I'm meteorologist Emily Gracey alongside my fellow meteorologist.
Hey there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kerrin Jeromin. Thanks for joining us for another week. And hey, big thanks to Jen Carfagno for jumping in last week while I took a little time off. I really appreciate it. Jen, you did great.
Yeah, much deserved. She did great. We'll definitely have her back. It was a lot of fun. It's fun also to bring in guests when we take time off, which I have a lot of time off coming up. And so you're going to have some guests in, which is going to be fun.
Yes. Little teaser there. But we're back together. I love talking to you always. This is like the highlight of my week, Emily.
Oh, yeah. First choice, yes.
For our listeners out there, if you're new to Weekly Weather Brief, we're just recapping things that caught our attention. We're two former broadcast meteorologists, so we used to work full-time in the weather and forecasting industry. We still love it, but we don't work in it full-time, so we just kind of see what caught our attention, and we're giving you basically like your water cooler talk on Fridays for you to catch up and talk about what's happening in the weather for when you go chat with people out in the world. So that's what we're here for. It's certainly not all encompassing, but boy, are we having fun with it. So thanks for joining us for another week. On that note, there's a lot happening this week weather-wise. Would you like to lead us off?
Sure. I'm going to lead us off, but then I'm going to pitch it back over to you because the first topic, I think you've got some stats on. Heat. It has been, I feel like, a broken record at this point. We've been talking about record-breaking heat through the entire summer. Kind of shifted a little bit farther west, though, this past week, right?
Yeah. This has been like an ongoing all-week thing. I saw this, too, of course, over the northern plains and like the Rockies, the Great Lakes, extreme temperatures. Not normal for July. Yes, we are in the dog days of summer, but I think this is pushing it a little beyond doggy heat. You know, we're talking more daily and all-time records. I saw Billings, Montana hit 111 earlier this week. That's absurd. So lots of records being set from about Montana to Colorado, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, then to the Great Lakes. So yeah, a lot of heat out there again. But like you said, it's been kind of a common story week to week for us.
Yeah. And on top of that, it feels like the world is on fire. I don't know how but it has been such an active week and kind of a really awful weather and natural disaster week. And I want to hear from you because I got a picture from both my husband and my dad, who are both in the Northeast. The wildfire smoke. You're in Connecticut. How bad is it right now?
I mean, as of recording time, the sky just looks like an overcast day. It's bright, but it's just very filtered. Everything in the sky is just kind of dingy is the way I've been describing it. You know, it kind of has this weird grayish brownish hue. And right, this is poor air quality that so much of the Northeast and Great Lakes has been dealing with, some places worse than others, because of all the wildfires in Canada. There's something like 150 plus wildfires burning in Ontario, and the wind pattern is just right or just wrong to cause this very dingy, poor air quality effect across a lot of the U.S. as well.
Yeah, if you look at the map for the air quality alerts, it's huge. They go all the way from like Minnesota, all the way across the Great Lakes into like Pennsylvania, New York, all the way into New England. So this is a widespread issue. It made me think, a really good place to look for wildfire smoke is on GOES 19 satellite imagery. But, Kerrin, GOES 19 went out. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Middle of the week, I just kind of caught it because I wasn't using the satellite imagery at the time. But yeah, I did hear about it.
Yeah. But like hugely disruptive when you think about how many like computer models depend on, it's not just these images that we see on the news. The satellite imagery is one thing, but like satellite data is providing a lot of information to like forecast models. So it's back, which is good. But if you do take a look at it, you can even Google, and we can put it in the show notes, the GOES 19 satellite imagery for wildfire smoke. You can see it on there. It's very distinct because it's a different color than clouds. It's kind of like a little bit more brown, and you can actually see it like dingy coming down from Canada. So take a look at that. We're very glad though that GOES 19 is back up and operating, and they did have 18 very important as a backup during that time period. So that's good.
Yes. Yeah, this air quality across the Great Lakes especially has been so bad because they have closer proximity, of course, to the fires, and it really is. It's terrible for anyone with like respiratory issues, even younger kids, elderly, anyone with more sensitive systems. It can really do a number. And I know there are a lot of places that were, stopping outdoor activities and making sure people are not being strenuous outside in this because it really can cause problems for health. So we hope it clears up, and we hope everyone in Canada is doing okay as well, of course.
Yep.
On the flip side of all this, though, Emily, like this is the heat side, the fire side. There is a flip side to this as you go around this big heat dome, which we've explained before. It was parked in the middle of the country. So on the other side of that, you kind of have the yin to the yang, and that is a lot of moisture and flooding that's been ongoing across, especially Texas. I know this is captivating the attention because it's still kind of an ongoing story as of the time we were recording this.
It's ongoing, and it's kind of perhaps really traumatic to the area, because you were talking about 1 year ago, this same area, Texas Hill Country, devastating flood that killed all the children in the camp. And so this same area, that Guadalupe River, is being impacted again. My only hope is that perhaps coming out of one trauma, one is more prepared for that trauma again. But it's the last thing I'm sure that they want to deal with right now is this flooding.
Right.
Just thunderstorms that aren't moving, that Gulf moisture coming in, sitting still, and just dumping rain on the same areas over and over again.
Yep, exactly. I was really watching it because the river had jumped. The Guadalupe River, they have these, gauges all along the river so you can monitor the levels and the flow. And I saw at one point it had jumped about more than 25 feet in the matter of 1 hour. So, right, as you said, that is reminiscent of the tragedy that happened a year ago there, but hopefully folks were aware and more prepared, and we'll see how the story unfolds. You hate to see it, but this is an area very vulnerable to that because this is a strong river, and this time of year, these training thunderstorms just can put down so much rainfall as they've done this week.
Yep. Well, let's talk about something a little lighter, but perhaps even more polarizing. And I want to get your take on this, your true opinion, because it seems like everybody has one. The Sunshine Protection Act. So we don't have to talk about politics, but I don't really count this as politics.
Yes, this week I did see that the House did say, yes, let's go for permanent daylight saving time, which means we wouldn't change the clocks twice a year, which you asked my opinion on it. I gotta be honest, I'm split because I love the idea of not having it get dark at 3:30 in the afternoon in the middle of winter. That is the most horrid time for me. But at the flip side, you wouldn't get your day started until 8, in some cases later with daylight. So I'm an early morning person, but I don't like the dark evening. So I'm very split on it. If I had to say one way or the other, let's go for it. Let's just stop changing clocks. That's my opinion. What about you? What do you think?
Okay, but you didn't answer. Which direction would you go? Would you do daylight saving year round, or would you do standard time year?
Yeah. Gotcha. Daylight saving time all day.
I think it's not maybe as important as we're making it out to be, but I'd be curious to see studies on depression rates or accidents, children going to school in the morning, if they're walking to school in the dark in the morning. That's where my biggest concern lies in. My kids are already going to school in the dark sometimes in the morning. So to extend that, I feel like makes it even more dangerous. So for that reason, I don't love it. I'm an early morning person too. I also like an excuse to go to bed early in the winter. So I'm kind of in the camp of standard time year round, but I also don't like change, so I'm also kind of leaning towards going back and forth. I don't know. I think we're humans and we'll adapt to whatever we do, and we're not actually in charge of time. This will go, we'll continue to live on, but I think we're supposed to follow what the sun is doing. So I think the best we can do that, with our habits.
That was so profound. That was so very profound. I think that should be a meme. We're not in control of time. What happens will happen. I like that, and that's a good way to live. Well, with that, Emily, we've approached our 10-minute mark, which is what we try to promise people. It doesn't always happen, but we're here. So there you go. You got your water cooler talk for the week. And before we go, I know we did want to give a shout out to a friend and colleague of so many of ours in the weather community. Congratulations, Jim Cantori. Saw it was his 40-year mark at the Weather Channel. One of my personal mentors. Cheers, Jim. Congratulations to you.
Cheers to 40 years. That is a long time to be in one place for work, but you're rocking it. We're very proud to know you, and thank you for all you do.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on Weekly Weather Brief. If you like what you hear, give us a follow, comment, send us a note. We're on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Kerrin.
Bye, Emily.